I'm Harian Tudiman. You can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss a single episode.
You can start planning your leave days because there'll be 5 long weekends next year, one more than this year's 4.
There's of course Good Friday. Then as Labor Day and Hari Raya Puasa fall on consecutive days on the first Sunday and Monday in May, they'll be a part of a long weekend of 4 days because Tuesday that week, May 3rd, will be a day off.
Now the two other Sunday holidays are Vesak Day and Christmas Day, so the days off for these will be the following day, and Deepavali next year falls on a Monday.
Meanwhile, 24 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed today, all imported. They were placed on stay-home notice upon arrival in Singapore. More details will be released tonight.
AGMs and shareholder meetings can keep being held online for the foreseeable future after the Law Ministry today extended the legislation indefinitely. The regulations were initially scheduled to end on June 30th. The extension will continue until at least the end of the year, and the Ministry will give 6 months' notice before virtual meetings are no longer allowed.
Cancelled last year due to the pandemic, Mediacorp's Star Awards is coming back on April 18th in a bumper 6.5-hour-long show. It will be held at Changi Airport Terminal 4 and Jewel. One of many changes, the annual Walk of Fame segment will have local stars like Zoe Tay and Pierre Peng on the tarmac against the backdrop of an SIA Airbus A350. Overseas celebrities including Ella Chen, Matilda Tao, Gordon Lam and Sandra Ng will also appear live from studios in Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Digital assets like cryptocurrencies and non-fungible tokens have been making headlines.
One of the most well-read stories on the Straits Times website today is Singaporeans who have lost their life savings after investing with crypto trading platform Talk.
Now, this highlights some of the risks of putting money in the relatively new and highly volatile cryptocurrency market, which remains small compared with trades of shares and bonds in Singapore.
So, what do you need to know about the highs and lows of crypto?
We're happy to welcome Zan Kwan, a board member of the Association of Cryptocurrency Enterprises and Startups Singapore. Welcome, Zan. So, what risks do first-timers investing in crypto need to know? Are these risks any different from normal trading, for example?
I think there are 3 main things that they have to know that is very different from trading with stocks and Forex. One is who are the parties involved and who are the entities. One is usually when you trade with stocks, it will be a centralized licensed entity. When you actually trade in crypto, most of the entities that a few investors in Singapore are using are either unlicensed or they're overseas. So there are some entities in Singapore who are waiting to get the PSA license in digital payment tokens. So right now it's in progress. So and then the other part is the wallet, the cryptocurrency wallet, which is used to hold the tokens or the cryptocurrency, will either be held on the entity, or you will be holding a P2P decentralized wallet. And what that means is if you are keeping your crypto in a decentralized wallet that you have the own private key, if you lose it, there will not be a centralized entity to so-called reset your password or to credit back your lost tokens. So that's one thing to take note. And then the second thing is the asset class itself. Cryptocurrency is known for huge price volatility. In the past, I think, few years, the maximum price jump in or drop in a day, it could be 30-something%. I guess going forward, it depends on what kind of tokens you are talking about. Some could, the volatility could be like in a few 100%. Just now I'm talking about 30% is Bitcoin itself. And right now, there are already about 500 tokens or 500 kind of cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is one of them. So just to get to know what this token stands for, is there any asset standing behind it, or what is the technology we're talking about? So that itself is a huge learning curve for most of a trader or buyer or investor in cryptocurrency. And then the last part is the safeguarding of the asset itself. itself. If you are buying crypto or keeping your crypto in a centralized entity that is licensed, they will have safeguarding processes to safeguard your crypto that is held with them. But if you are trading via a platform that is unlicensed, for example, the recent top debacle, I call it, it is an unlicensed entity in Singapore, it's BVI. So with that, it is set up without a robust framework in internal controls or in a cryptocurrency regulation. So that itself, I think investors need to be aware the platform you're using and what kind of investor safeguarding processes or internal control that the platform has.
So then, with these differences, do they influence the behavior of the people who take part in such transactions? What are the habits of people who play in the crypto market?
Sure. In the past, say 7-8 years ago, there are a lot of early adopters who are very interested in cryptocurrency or the blockchain technology. Recent years, I have seen the shift in crypto buyers to buyers who are looking for higher returns versus, for example, the returns in property in Singapore right now, the rental yield is 2%, or the returns in equity. So there's a new group of investor or buyer coming on board to try to so-called beat the market to actually have higher returns on their cash that they have.
Right. Well, Zen, earlier, you laid out in great detail some of the risks involved in, investing in crypto. Despite the negatives, though, crypto is still very much, it has a sizable base. So what are the incentives in people investing in crypto?
Treat it like any other asset class, as an alternative asset class. I think it is good to have some percentage of it. I think the question, how big a percentage, is based on, number one, your knowledge of cryptocurrency, and number two, what is your, in a way, risk appetite. But again, I emphasize the knowledge of how to keep cryptocurrency and the knowledge of the tokens and the technology behind it is, I think, the most critical in terms of all cryptocurrency buyer.
Then, so let's say, Olivia and myself, we want to start investing in cryptocurrency. What is your advice for us?
Okay. I think number one, to get really familiarized with a digital or a cryptocurrency wallet, know what is a public key, a private key, know what is a multi-signature wallet, for example, because right now we have heard that people have lost cryptocurrency on a scam wallet. That's right. Even a wallet that you download seems legitimate. When you download from a store, it might be a scam wallet. So just to make sure that it's a wallet that is widely used and well known, and it's not a phishing wallet that looks like a well-known wallet. That's one. Secondly, is to make sure that you are familiar with transferring crypto and make sure that you keep your private key or your password. Because again, if this is your own wallet, if you lose it, you lose your crypto. You lose all your cryptocurrency when you lose your private key. Right. And I think one thing is we have heard a lot of scams coming up, or in a way, people trying to lure people into buying a certain tokens, trying to compare with Bitcoin, saying that buy it when it's, let's say, a few dollars versus Bitcoin right now. And I think we just have to be aware that there are a lot of, in a way, schemes that are not not legitimate. So one advice is, if you are trading or buying crypto on a platform in Singapore, make sure that the platform itself is in the process of getting a license with MAS. There are a few right now in Singapore, so you can just trade using this platform.
Right. Well, Olivia and myself, we will take note of these pieces of advice. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Zen. We've been speaking with Zen Kwan, a board member of the Association of Cryptocurrency Enterprises and Startups Singapore.
Taking a quick look overseas, quarantine-free travel between New Zealand and Australia is set to start in about 2 weeks on April 19th. This comes as both countries have managed the COVID-19 crisis more successfully than most other developed nations, having closed their international borders very early during the pandemic. According to New Zealand media, the travel bubble is expected to run on a state-by-state basis and would restrict travellers from certain areas in the event of an outbreak in Australia.
And easing of COVID-19 curbs in Britain as well, which will go ahead with its planned reopening of the economy next week. This even as a recent steep fall in infections level off. Most retail outlets will reopen next Monday, April 12th, alongside gyms and personal care businesses like hair salons and barbershops. But Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that it's too soon to determine if international summer holidays can go ahead this year. This suggests that the planned reopening of non-essential outbound travel could be pushed back beyond May 17th.
The ashes of Yuan Chen-siu, the operator of the ill-fated train in Taiwan that crashed last Friday, was sent to his hometown of Taichung today. The specially arranged train will stop at Shulin Station in New Taipei City, where the Taroko Express started its journey before the accident. There will be a change of crew there to signify that Mr. Yuan has completed his shift. A job that no one wants to do, the latest Invisible Asia episode profiles India's sewer cleaners.
In cities and villages, it's common to see men and women cleaning latrines and sewers using brooms, sticks, and often their bare hands.
Well, they manually carry and dispose of human excreta. Some enter manholes with sewage water up to their necks to unclog pipes.
18 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ನಾವು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ BBMP ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. BBMP ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಬಳ ಆವಾಗ 600-700 ಕೊಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವಾಸನೆ ಅದು ಇದು ಹಂಗೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಗ್ಗಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಗತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. ವಾಸನೆ ಅದು ಇದು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಗತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಬೇಗ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದುವರೆಗೂ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಹಂಗೆ ಸಾಕೋದು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದೇನೇ ನಾವು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಹಂಗೆ ತಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ವಿ. ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗ್ಲೌಸ್ಗಳು ಏನು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೇ ಬರೀ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಣ್ಣೆಲ್ಲ ತೆಗೆದು ಮೂಟಾಕಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಗ್ಲೌಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಮಾಸ್ಕ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ವಾಸನೆಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರು ಅವರು. ಆವಾಗಿಂದ ನಾವು ಅದೇ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. ನಾವು ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿರಿ.
ಆ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್ಲು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
ನಾವು 3 ಜನ 4 ಜನ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ, 4 ಜನ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ.
ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು?
ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇನೋ ಮುಳ್ಳು ಹೊಡೆದಿದೆ
ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ.
ಇನ್ನೇನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಮ್ಮದು ಅಂತೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇನ್ನೇನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ.
The Straits Times' India correspondent Rohini Mohan did the legwork for this, and she joins us now. Hi Rohini. Rohini, this kind of work is called manual scavenging, which has been outlawed in India since 1993. Yet these jobs remain. Why is this so?
I'd say the first reason manual scavenging continues in India is actually infrastructural. That is, very few households in India are connected to a sewage system. Urban cities are quite haphazardly built, and very few households here are connected to a drainage or to a latrine system where the waste can go. And those houses that are connected are actually connected to a very broken system or an old system that gets blocked a lot. Often the only way a blocked sewage system can be unblocked is by calling a human. But why do you even think of human, right? So that is because it's social. The caste system is deeply ingrained in India, and for years together, it was assumed that there were some people from who were Dalits, who are among the most marginalized communities in India. It was assumed that they would be the ones who had to do this job. So over the years, people have tried to fight this, but they continue to be pushed, forced into this job, even when they try to break out of it. The third reason is economic. That is, people are not who have been doing this for some generations are not able to find other jobs, either because they are not educated enough or because people keep pushing them to do the same job. And the rehabilitation packages that the government has written on paper, the reskilling programs that it has developed on paper again in 1993 after this practice was supposed to be abolished, this has not reached enough people. Very few people have been able to take advantage of this, and so they, for a livelihood, continue to do this job.
You know, Rohini, despite the law banning these sort of professions, there seems to be no helping these cleaners. So what's your general sense of their plight?
So I shot with 3 manual scavengers, but I met 17 or 18 of them that were working in different neighborhoods. And while talking to them, I realized that each one of them had tried very hard to do another job. But their illiteracy, most of them have not studied more than 5th grade or not at all. And another reason is their poverty, so they need to do some work, and this is the work that comes more regularly than everything else. And thirdly, their neighbors, once they find out what they have done in the past, even a few times, it becomes a sort of trap. They're unable to shed the stigma. They're called humiliating names. There are a variety of them in different Indian languages. And then it becomes difficult for them to even seek other jobs.
Can younger relatives of these sewer cleaners, say, grandchildren, break out of this work? Or is it a generational trap?
Yes, the most hopeful thing about this story was that every family that I met had a younger generation that was very determined to be educated and find other opportunities. They have identified what they can control. They can't really control the stigma, but they can control how educated they are to open out the world a little bit more to them. And many of them had been encouraged by their parents and their grandparents who did sewer cleaning to not do this job again. These people are therefore coming out of it. They do still struggle with stigma, and but many of them said that they don't tell people what their parents used to do unless it's a supportive group, and they are trying quite hard to find other jobs, and that is quite heartening.
Well, Rohini, thanks very much for sharing more about this group of people in India. That was India correspondent for the Straits Times, Rohini Mohan. You can watch the full video on India's sewer cleaners on our YouTube channel. There's a link in the description below.
Subscribe by hitting the red button below as well. Once again, I'm Haryanto Diman with Olivia Quay. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.